And it's the second hour of Morning Edition. Welcome back. It's also World Press Freedom Day. What we getting today, boy? Studio, what all you want? Studio saying me, yeah, we go take something. So, all right, so here's this, right? If the secretaries get something for Secretary Day or whatever it is called, and other people get things for their special day, why we can't get something today on World Press Freedom Day, all right? So I'm just putting that out there, all right? So, yeah, them thanks. All right, let's deal with more serious matters now. So we are now chatting with Wendy Lewis, a global keynote speaker, corporate trainer, founder, and senior facilitator at the Trinidad and Tobago Corporate Training Academy to discuss her upcoming Mindset, Attitude, Purpose seminar. Good morning, Ms. Lewis.
Pleasant good morning to you, man, and happy World Press Freedom Day.
Thank you. I'll take that. I'm taking that, boy. Ms. Lewis, tell us about the seminar.
Well, firstly, thank you for having me.
Yes.
And good morning to your listening and viewing audience. The seminar came at a very interesting time. I was sitting at home and I was wondering, why is it so difficult for us to bridge the gap between the Gen X, the millennials, and those from the 60s, 70s, where we keep clashing with communication in terms of how we move forward with life. And I got up 2 a.m. a morning and I just started writing, map it out. And I didn't know what that map it out meant until I put a full stop between the letters and realized it was an acronym. And the acronym was Mindset, Attitude, and Purpose. All of us, we have a vision for our lives. Well, hopefully we all have a vision for our lives. And how do we map it out in the different seasons of life? And I recognize you have to change from a fixed to a growth mindset. You have to have the right attitude, and you have to have purpose in your life to establish anything you want to achieve. And so I apply this MAP principle to literally every area of my life. My corporate training, the NGO, crime initiatives that I deal with, everything. You need to have the right mindset, the attitude, and the purpose. So for Administrative Professionals Week, which was last week, but I was so overwhelmed and people were asking for an open class as opposed to where the corporate entities buy into the program. And I decided I'm going to create something in my hometown of South, and I'm going to drop some etiquette nuggets in the middle of it, some email etiquette, telephone and dining, and have a 3-hour seminar tomorrow from 9 a.m. to noon at the Celebration Center, number 3 Grand Soul Street in San Fernando.
Yeah. Ms. Lewis, well, apparently this is for everyone, because from what you're telling us, any and everyone can learn from what you are going to impart to people. Correct.
You're more than welcome.
Yeah. After work now, I'll come down, right? But, I mean, we do know the importance as to what you were speaking about, what you have told us about. But to certain people who have not gotten the message, and it's a bit fuzzy in their minds. Why is this so important?
Yes. I believe that everybody has a purpose for their lives and everybody wants to go further. Nobody should want to be comfortable with where they are. We all want more. We all need more. Even in the corporate space, even in your workplace, you want more. You may start at a particular position. You want to grow with that company. You may have your own business. You would like that business to expand. None of that can happen if you do not have the right mindset, the right attitude, and understand your purpose. And your purpose is in alignment with the vision you have for your company or yourself. And at the end of the day, things are changing rapidly. We're like post-pandemic, still in pandemic mode, and the world is changing rapidly. We are in the era of artificial intelligence. We cannot still have the same mindset. And sometimes, you know, something I realized, Mr. Hopkinson, a lot of people say, you know, well, I don't really need to change. I'm very comfortable. Why do I need to adapt? And then you tell those same people, do not purchase a cell phone. Put your cell phone down and you take a coin and try find a phone booth. And then it hits home. Whether you like it or not, the world is changing and we have to adapt if we would like to be successful.
You think that some persons are just burnt out and that's why they're in sort of a rut and they're not prepared to improve themselves?
I like the fact that you said that they're burnt out because that's part of the seminar to empower them. Because sometimes the pressures of life will really have you burnt out. And you need someone somewhere with a voice that says, hold on, things can get better. Come on, you can do it. What's your gift? Let me help you assess this. Let me help you put the pieces of the puzzle together. So the burnt out people are the people that I want.
Yeah. All right. That's good. That's a good way to promote the event, the burnt out people.
Yes.
What sort of impact do you think that the pandemic has had on the workforce?
I believe it's based on how you look at it because there are always opportunities in the middle of a crisis. Initially, I would say it was a shock to everyone. No one was ready for this. So a hint of depression stepped in various circles. I myself had my downtime and then I thought, you know what? This is not going to change because of your emotions. You yourself have to recognize that it is what it is. I had to shift all my training, well, the majority of my training, to a virtual space. A lot of people did not know what to do because they weren't prepared. But success is when preparation meets opportunity. The pandemic has put a dent, but how do you view it? It's been almost 3 years. Do you stay in that same frame of mind, or do you decide, you know what? I'm not going to allow this pandemic to beat me and take 3 years from my life. I can beat this. I can do something different. A lot of people became entrepreneurs in the pandemic. So there were opportunities when you realize despite everything that was taking place, you still have your bills to pay. You still have your children to take care of. You still need a roof over your head. You start to think outside the box. So for me, the pandemic was a shifting mechanism for many. And whilst things weren't the same, people were forced to shift out of their comfort zone.
Yeah. And I'm listening to you, and I'm just wondering, how do you get persons out of that rut? Because all they're seeing is darkness and hopelessness. And you made a great point just now, and you spoke about the responsibilities that some people may have. But some people may say, well, I've just lost my job. I still have to take care of these children. I have to send them to school. So how do you motivate people who are in such a situation?
You are just hitting the nail on the head right through. Those are the people I love. Because at the end of the day, and I've said this to many circles before, you've lost your corporate job. Your gifts make room for you. What can you do? I've spoken to so many people who have lost their jobs, and I start to ask them, what can you do? Your gifts is what make room for you. And then you start seeing people popping up, but they can bake, they can cook, they can do hair, they can do nails, they can do so many different things. They get involved in a trade. Had the pandemic not happened, would they have been inspired to do that? No, because they would have been in their comfort zone with the 8 to 4 and the 9 to 5. That's their job. But they're shifting now into becoming self-employed business owners, investors. Those are the people I want to show that there's more on the inside of you. And what you thought was the key to your success is really on the inside of you. A lot of people were too dependent on the 8 to 4, the 9 to 5, the 7 to 3. And then they realized, but hang on a minute, I can do this. I have now become an entrepreneur as a result of the pandemic. And then they can still have their 8 to 4, a part-time job, and they can still, Mr. Hopkinson, I wear 9 hats. Mm-hmm. 9. You can become anything that you want to become. And I got that bit of advice from Sir Richard Branson in the UK. I asked, what is the secret to your success? And he said, multiple streams of income. And that was over a decade ago. And here we are, having to use multiple streams of income as a survival mechanism. It's all in the mind.
And I think also that persons need to realize that everyone is born with a gift.
Correct.
Right? But you need to recognize that.
That's it. And that comes with having the right circle, the right network. Because, you may want to start something. A young person might decide, you know what, I love agriculture. I just love being in the garden. And then you have the negative ones in your ears. Gardening? You really think you can make money with gardening? Who makes money with gardening? You need to be this, you need to be that. And sometimes a lot of parents try to live their dreams through their children without allowing the children to become all that they were called to become. Sports and culture, don't deny them, push them.
Yeah, I think that sometimes, and I've listened to certain motivational speakers too, and what some of them would tell you is that the thought that you have in your head and the gift that you may have and the dreams that you may have, those belong to you, you know. And sometimes the persons that you may tell about these dreams and your thoughts and your aspirations and so on, they can't understand because those dreams are yours. So they just can't understand.
And sometimes it's not even for them to understand. They just need to trust the process and believe in you and be more supportive and more empowering. What will work for you may not work for me. And I always use my nail tech as an example. You cannot get an appointment with her until the next 3 to 4 weeks. And nails aren't cheap. Just, you may not know, Mr. Hopkinson, but nails aren't cheap. They are $200 to $300 to get your nails done. And picture someone who has at least 8 to 10 appointments a day.
Yeah.
Do the math. That person is sitting pretty, especially if you're set up under your parents' home or under your own home. You don't even have that overhead. Your gifts make room for you. I have several friends who are caterers, hairdressers, barbers, doing their own thing, even agriculture, and they are doing pretty well.
I think that people need to be more optimistic, and also there's a saying that to adopt an attitude of gratitude.
Correct.
And sometimes that makes things a little easier for you.
That's a big key. It makes it so much easier. It's unbelievable. When you realize that, you know, this is what it is. Sometimes we complain too much. And the time we take to complain, something could have been done. And when you look around the world, even in Trinidad and Tobago, a lot of people have progressed. A lot of people have taken another step in the right direction during the pandemic. Why not you? What's the difference? And I do not accept all those stereotypes of geographical location, race, gender. I don't, all those things are excuses. Yes, in some circles it may be a slight deterrent, but how do you move forward? You look beyond.
Yeah.
Sometimes we major in the minors too much.
Do you have a position on what may be termed negative people? And sometimes you need to associate yourself with like-minded people, optimistic people, and that's the only way you will realize your dreams or what you want to do?
I totally agree with that. Sometimes you just need to pick up your cell phone and delete some numbers. People who aren't adding value to your life. First thing you wake up in the morning, what is your first phone call? What phone call are you taking? Is it one to gossip? Is it one with a business idea? Is it one to uplift you or empower you? Everybody just think about your first phone call that you choose to accept, because you can choose. You can decide, I'm not taking this call because of what this person brings to the table. Life is a reflection of the choices we make. And a lot of times we just need to look in the mirror, know what we want for our lives. Where do you see yourself in the next week, in the next month, in the next 6 months, in the next year? And at the end of the day, make choices in alignment with your vision. Map it out. Have the right mindset, attitude, and purpose.
There's a strong possibility that some people just need guidance and just need motivation. And as you would have said, write it down. Yes.
Write the vision and make it plain.
Yeah.
Every single person who is looking at this interview right now has purpose on the inside of them. Every single one. Some people don't know. And some people ask me, how do you find your gifting in your childhood? Go right back to your childhood. At my example, every school report, Wendy's a brilliant student but too talkative. If Wendy will talk less, I'm not kidding, primary, secondary school. And here I am, I speak for a living.
Well, that sounds like my report card too. I can
so
tell
you can relate.
The first time that I saw the word loquacious, I saw it on my on my card. I thought that the teacher was saying something badly to me. But that takes me to another point in that some of us who like to talk a lot are playful. I consider us a little different, because you would have had persons like us, or do still have persons like us in the school system, and we are seen as playful, we are seen as as troublemakers, when all I really see us as being is a little different, maybe, from the others in the school population. And I think teachers need to recognize that just because a person, I'm not speaking about us, but I'm just saying just because a person may not be academically inclined, that doesn't mean that person is not gifted. And that doesn't mean that we must put that person on the dump heap, if I can say that.
Agreed. And I mean, academically inclined is one side of it. At the end of the day, what we need is old school teachers. Teachers who were like your parents. Teachers who understood the nurturing side. Teachers with discernment. We have a lot in the system. We need more. So that they can look at this child and recognize, whilst they may not be very good with mathematics, I realize that they're very good with languages. I realize that they enjoy the agricultural science class more than this class, and recognize that this is where their gifting lies, and push them in that area and not pull them down. Everyone was not called to be doctors and lawyers. As there'll be broke doctors and broke lawyers, because there'll be no patients and nobody to even call before the courts. At the end of the day, we need to recognize that. And we need to respect each other's giftings as well. Teachers want to see the best out of children, but they also need to recognize that every single child is unique. Every single child is different. And once that is recognized, you're supposed to be able to steer that child in the right direction.
Yeah. Is there any specific, or are there specific components that you are going to be targeting tomorrow?
Definitely personal development, empowerment, email and telephone etiquette, because I believe that they're very key for your communication skills. And because it's admin professionals and we want to have some fun, we have icebreakers, and we would have dining etiquette as well. So meals will be provided and they'll be guided.
Yeah, Ms. Lewis, it was a pleasure speaking with you this morning. I'm sure that persons who would have been viewing this part of our interview, they are motivated, they are raring to go, and they're no longer in a rut. So thank you very much, Ms. Lewis.
Thank you for having me. They can reach out to the Corporate Training Academy at 269-3567, or they can email tttcorporatetrainingacademy@gmail.com. Thank you for having me, and have a blessed day.
All right, bye for now. So it's time for another break with this image caption, Tufted Capuchin Monkey from Sham Sahade. Sham, another good picture, boy. Good morning.
And they will appreciate something new. So I thought it best to change to the minor chord to see really who is who. Big band. Who be on the tenor? Big band. Bringing out the minor. Big band. What come the professor? Big band.